Okay, we're going to talk about the Byzantine Empire. So just write that down. All right, very good. Write this down in your notes. The Byzantine Empire, also referred to as Byzantium. Byzantium.
I spelled over two E's.
I don't think I have another book, Caitlin. So, in your workbook that I just gave you, go ahead and look up chapter 6, activities 1 and 2. It starts on page 45 and it goes over to 48, and you can tear those out.
Whoa.
It'll be all right. Trust me. Trust me,
Whoa.
trust me.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And it goes to
Section,
48?
you want 6-2 and 6-1, so it goes from 45 to 48. Just tear all those out.
Oh. Oh.
Hang in there, hang in there. Look at the map first. Look at the map first, which is activity 6-2. Activity 6-2, the map. And then in your book, look on page 123. Do what? Not this one. No, but it's similar, and that's kind of what I'm going to point out. When
What
did
page in the book?
in the book it's on page 1, 2, 3. Page 123 in your book. Okay, tell me this. When did the Roman Empire collapse?
4?
Go ahead, Kate. No, that's when the Republic started. 476, right? AD 476. And now from now on, guys, anytime we're talking about years, we're just dropping the AD. We always had to include the BC when we were talking about before Christ, before the cross. But now that for instance, like today is November the 17th, 2020, but we don't say 2020 AD, right? So we drop the AD. We don't refer to it that way anymore. Okay, so the Roman Empire collapsed in 476, but it would be better to say that the Roman Empire divided. That the Roman Empire divided into the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. I'd write that down. You need to know that.
The Roman Empire?
Divided into the Western Roman Empire, the remnants of what was left, and the Eastern Roman Empire, and it's the eastern half that is the Byzantine. Remember, the Roman Empire fell apart from within due to corruption and bureaucratic issues and economic issues where the money became worthless and the people became dooless and they depended on the government for everything, and of course they collapsed.
So,
And then Vandals and Visigoths and Goths and barbarians, which to the Roman, anybody who wasn't Roman was classified as a barbarian. They all invaded, and basically the kingdom, the empire, was separated.
so you know how there's like the poor and the rich, there's always fighting to each other? So
Patricians
they're
and the
right between, like,
plebeians.
the poor and the rich, like the West and the poor.
Not really. The western half, of course, is greatly weakened. Even though it's collapsed, it's greatly weakened. But the Byzantine is going to flourish. It's going to grow. Now, who was it that made Christianity legal in 313?
Constantine.
Constantine. So So guess what the capital of the Byzantine Empire is gonna be? Constantinople is gonna be the capital. Okay, so look at the map there that we have on page 123. And we're just gonna kind of quickly do this one together. Okay? So what would be the number that you'd put down for Alexandria? Because it's in Egypt. It's at the lowest part. 10. 10 is Alexandria. What number is Arabia? 6. Asia Minor? 12. It's modern day Turkey. The Black Sea? 5. And look where Constantinople is. Yes, it's on the Bosporus, as they refer to it. The strait between the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. Okay, and then the Danube River? 14. Egypt? 7. Greece? 9. Well, you guys are good. Y'all can look at a map and just read it like crazy. Where's Jerusalem? 4. Right by the Jordan River and the Dead Sea. The Mediterranean? 2. The Nile? 8. The Red Sea kind of has little... Oh, did I skip? Oh, it's North Africa. North Africa's 15. And then the Red Sea is 11. It looks like it's holding 2 fingers up at you. Peace, man. And then Venice is 3. Oh, Rome is 3. Venice is 13. Yep. Okay, did you get them all? Okay, you're ready to turn that one in then. But wait a minute. Let's see. On the back, does it have...
We don't do this?
No, we do the back. Yeah, we do. Okay. Hang on. Oh, I know. My goodness, you're in school. You might have to read. Okay, but here's before we get started. Just hang on there with me for a second. Don't go crazy. Look back on page 121. Where it says the Byzantine civilization, you see it in your book? In 330, what was created in, 313, what was made in 313?
The Byzantine Empire?
The Edict of Milan, that legalized Christianity, issued by Constantine, okay? But in 330, Emperor Constantine formally declared a new capital for the Roman Empire. He called this city the New Rome. Also named it after himself, Constantinople, Constantine's city. The second Rome was ideally located on a peninsula that juts out into the waters of the Bosporus, a narrow strait that separates southeastern Europe from Asia Minor. Constantinople was the meeting place of East and West. You'll need to know that. It was at the crossroads of the East and the West. Constantinople. Constantinople was the meeting place. Wealth from all over the world passed through there. Wonder how this is going to help spread the gospel. The wealth of the world. People are going to go that way to trade. So Constantinople, in the next paragraph, it says it's a flourishing commercial center. What does that mean?
Everything is sold there.
It's a big trading place, right? It's a big place for trade. People go where the roads are. And guys, right out here where 460 and 77 connect, right there where Walmart is. When I grew up, Walmart, that field was a hay field. I've actually picked up hay, bales of hay in that field. Matter of fact, that's the first thing my dad said when we went to Walmart together. He said, "They sure messed up one good hay field." but all of this out through here, this was rural. I mean, now you've got, you think about all the restaurants that you've got down Restaurant Row, as I call it, Wendy's and Applebee's and the Texas Steakhouse, and it's just Restaurant Row down through there. Okay, that again, that used to be just forest, just trees.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
I wish
but
it was like that
I
now.
remember it when it was like that. I remember when all of that was just woods and trees, and actually, again, where you go down the ramp on 77 to go toward Beckley, you're going 77 north. Some of you probably go that way home. I don't know. Does anybody go that way home?
I'm so bad with directions. I
No.
have, like, no idea.
When you go down 77, like you're going toward Beckley.
And Blacksmith Road and then Walmart and then you go this way?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got it.
The turn.
Okay. Okay. When you go through that, you're actually going through my grandmother's living room.
Oh.
My grandmother's house used to sit
I'm
there.
sorry.
More
Me
pictures.
too. My grandmother's house used to sit
Could they
there.
just keep the top part?
No, they actually picked the whole house up and moved it back. I don't know if you noticed, there's 3 brick houses over
Oh,
there.
is that one of them?
That my grandmother's house was that big 2-story brick house,
Whoa.
and it used to be about, like I said, you're driving through her living room. The government bought her property and bought her home, and then they sold it back to her. They sold her house back for like $1, yeah, and then they moved it for her. They moved it back for her. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say this: all of these restaurants and stuff didn't used to be here. Walmart's wasn't here. Nobody's interested in this little neck of the woods. This was country. This was rural. I've got pictures of the road right in front of my grandmother's house that now is 460. I've got pictures of that when it was a dirt road. When it was just a dirt road. A dirt road. A one-lane road, a dirt road. That people rode back and forth in a horse and a buggy. All of that changes when you bring in the roads. Now you've got a major artery, as they would call it, a major artery running north and south, and that's of course 77. And now you've got a major artery running east and west, and that's 460. And so when they converge right there, you've got all of these restaurants and things. I'm saying all of that to say this. Constantinople is going to be like that. It's at an area where you've got major thoroughfares, roadways. Now they weren't interstates like what we have, but they were still the interstate of the day. This was the way everybody traveled. And so this is going to be a major commercial center, Constantinople. Today, well, let's see. I don't know if it's called Constantinople today or Istanbul. It was called Istanbul. Constantinople. Let's see, how does it go? Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul. There's an actual song. And it's much better than that. But anyway, so the new Rome is Constantinople. Okay, you'll need to know that. The new Rome is Constantinople. And the first great emperor during the Byzantine era was Justinian. So Justinian, spelled Justin and add an I-A-N.
So the what?
On page 122, Justinian.
What was he, the first something?
The-
That's great.
Well, after Constantine, I should say. Justinian. After Constantine is Justinian.
What is he?
That's after
The
Constantine.
first great
Look with me on page 122 and you'll see what he is. Justinian, and his wife's name was? Look there and see what it is.
Theodora.
Theodora. Theodora. Justinian and Theodora.
Was your nickname Theo?
I don't know. I didn't know her personally. Theodora.
She a chipmunk?
Not that I know of.
That's what they should have named the girl too.
Yeah.
Justinian rose from humble origins to become one of the most famous Byzantine emperors. But at one point, he's about to be conquered over by a mass rioting, and he is going to flee and leave. And Theodora says it's better to stay and die an emperor than be always in flight.
I would flee.
And well, I kind of feel that way too. But he stayed and fought the revolt, and that's known as the Nika Revolt. And technically, that's what you guys are going to read about. That's what you're gonna do next. That's why I want you to do about the Nicca Revolt on page 45, 46, and 47. I know, but I'm gonna give you class time to do it. So,